Hello everyone, welcome to the TC show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey man, I dig your new jazzed up theme tune.
Okay, let's get down to business. Tony, welcome back to the TC show. I understand that you wish to talk about the economic realities ahead.
That's correct. I shall put up a caption behind me to remind people where we stand from an economic viewpoint.
Hey man, that's a caption from Roadrunner, one of my favorite cartoons. Beep beep.
VI, you do make me laugh, and that's great, because at the end of the day, we want to enjoy life. However, we cannot enjoy life at the expense of ignoring reality. Trust me, economic reality is ahead. Just for the record, today is the 31st of December 2012.
Tony, we have been here before. We have faced many fiscal cliffs. Why should this one be any different?
Because in the past, we could defer reality. It's now getting more difficult to do that.
Hey gloomy dude, chill out. Take a leaf out of my book. The mainstream media and politicians are not panicking, so why should we?
At the moment things appear calm and controlled, but I can guarantee behind the scenes the politicians are very worried and will be making plans for civil unrest. I won't go into detail, but you can look up the National Defense Authorization Act and House Resolution 6566. The problem is you are suffering from normalcy bias, just like the majority of the US population.
Okay, what is going to happen over the next few months?
I believe that the politicians will miss the deadline to provide a satisfactory solution to prevent the tax increases and spending cuts. This will cause the markets to fall, and I suspect commodities such as gold and silver will fall in price. There will be public anger, and that will force the politicians to formulate a compromise. This may prevent the tax increases and spending cuts. They will not fully grasp the nettle, thus ensuring a greater problem down the road. Later on in the year, that is to say before April, they will need to address the debt ceiling issue. I suspect it will be raised, probably from $16.4 trillion to about $19 trillion.
There you go, Tony. We're not going to fall over the fiscal cliff.
VI, there is no doubt at all that we are going to enter the greatest depression ever. It's now just a question of how it's going to be managed. It looks like that the politicians are going to try to stage manage this collapse. Let me give you an analogy. Let's assume that there is going to be a massive earthquake. If all that energy was released at once, it would be truly devastating. However, if that energy was to be dissipated over a much longer period of time, there would be disruption, but not as intense. It's just like the debt. If we tried to balance the books today by applying severe austerity, the economy would face a devastating collapse. However, if we pay off the debt over a longer period of time, the pain would last much longer, but at least it would not be truly catastrophic.
The problem is, if they are not prepared to reduce the debt, it would be like a greater, more powerful earthquake at a later time. I think there will be a compromise amongst the politicians, and that is, some cuts will be made but not enough to bring down the budget deficit to zero.
Tony, do you agree with George?
Yes, and to sum it up, there will be a gradual decline in our standard of living over a long time scale, I suspect for many decades. We have to remember that this debt was built up over many years. The monetary system was expanded by the introduction of credit cards, subprime lending, and derivatives. The debt-based model was abused, and we got used to an unsustainable lifestyle by borrowing too much from the future. To get to a position of a sustainable future, we have to firstly to live within our means, and secondly to pay back the debt. It's going to be very painful and will cause a depression, but the truth is, we have no choice. I would just like to carry out a test. VI, what number do you see on the screen?
I see the number 35.
George, what number do you see?
I see the number 57.
TC, what number do you see on the screen?
I also see the number 57.
And I see the number 57. We all looked at the screen, but not all of us saw the same number. Life is a bit like that. We can all see the same information but perceive it differently. I see a tougher economic future ahead, however I am not too pessimistic about it, provided that everyone is in the same boat. If the banking elite are taken to task, and some are jailed for their crimes, I believe people will feel a great sense of justice. If we are all truly in it together, then we will become more of a content society once we have gone through the transitional period and have finally accepted a lower standard of living. There will be a move away from celebrity worship and people will once again become more grounded.